This is Roger Simon for PJTV, and in a grand tradition of our fledgling network from 2008, we have with us Michael Medved, national talk show host. Welcome back, Michael.
Yes, and trying to see and determine that it is possible for conservatives to walk and talk at the same time, but not to chew gum.
Right, Gerald Ford, we're not. Anyway,
Right.
But Michael, you were just telling me off camera, and as we talk here, we're walking down Radio Row here in the Tampa Convention Center.
In all its splendor.
In all its splendor. You can see all the different radio stations going on forever here. But Michael, you were telling me off camera, you were a lot skeptical of the idea of Florida conventions. Why is that?
Well, I think, first of all, hurricanes. I mean, but the big news stories today are not something that is particularly helpful. Will Isaac Steele mitts thunder?
Right,
you know,
cares?
I'm like,
Right.
please.
Yeah.
Okay, it's August. There are hurricanes in Florida. I also recall the worst year for conventions was in 1972, because in that year both major parties, I believe, had their conventions in Miami. And the reason they did was because they figured that even demonstrators and anarchists and crazies and yippies and Abby Hoffman wouldn't dare to come down to Miami in August. And that, by the way, is the only advantage of having the convention in Tampa, is I think we're less likely to be trashed and interrupted by all kinds of crazies on the left.
It'll be washed out.
Right, than they are in Charlotte.
Right.
I mean, yeah, the people on the left are not noted for their stalwart courage, determination, focus.
In rough weather.
Right, exactly right.
Well, yes, but beyond that, what do you think of the setup of this venue? We're right here in the convention center, yet the actual convention is taking place over there in the Forum.
Well, the late Daniel Patrick Moynihan used to say that when he grew up, the Republicans were always known as the stupid party.
Right.
And one of the responses to that, among many, was, well, better a stupid party than an evil party.
Right.
Okay, but there's no reason to be a stupid party. Look, this setup is appalling. I've been to a lot of conventions. I went to my first convention in 1964 in the Democratic Convention in Atlantic City.
Were you at 68 in Chicago? I
was right before I got out of town before the riots, but I was at the beginning of that convention. And so I've been to a lot of conventions, and this setup where literally there is a very clear separation between the media building and the building where everything is supposed to be happening, though of course nothing's happening today, this is really badly done. And honestly, you know, I honestly believe that Mitt Romney should win this election. I want him to win the election. I think he will win the election. He should win the election. But for goodness sake, it would help if we didn't give away points through incompetence and stupidity.
Where do you think it should have been?
This convention? Yeah. Anywhere. I mean, I actually think they did an outstanding job last time in St. Paul. That was a good convention.
Yeah, it was.
And I think they also did a particularly good job. The convention in Philadelphia in 2000 was the best convention I ever attended. And Philadelphia, it has a lot of history to it. There have been 6 GOP conventions in Philadelphia, including the Great Convention in 1940. I wasn't at that one. I wasn't born.
You weren't?
No. That was the one that nominated Wendell Willkie.
People think we were, Michael.
Yeah, I know. I know. But no, there's. Look, I'm a Philadelphian originally, so I'm partial. At least they wouldn't have had to deal with hurricanes. And Pennsylvania's a swing state too.
All right. Well, one last question. A lot of people think that the convention itself is outmoded. Where do you stand on that?
Of course it's outmoded, and I actually think it might be better if it weren't. In other words, right now we have sort of the worst of all possible worlds in terms of our presidential selection process. We have this endless primary season that costs hundreds of millions of dollars and involves the parties battling each other, often over very minor differences and over personalities. And then you come to the convention's anticlimactic. Right. The old way that we used to do it was the primaries really didn't matter because the party organization chose things. If we could somehow, first of all, compress the entire primary selection process and actually have conventions where they decide something, that would be much more exciting, and it would be better, and it would be an improvement, it seems to me, in every way. But right now, to have conventions which are, it's vestigial, it's like an appendix, right? I mean,
it feels like that to me.
Yeah, in
but,
other words, it's a holdover from the past.
If you look all around, it's a good thing for employment.
There's no doubt, and it's always nice, especially you and I have in common, being red state guys who live in blue states.
Yeah.
And it's always kind of nice to come to a place where you say, wait a minute, there are a lot of Republicans in this country.
Well, yeah, we're not so weird, right?
That's right.
On that happy note, I will say goodbye to Michael Medved, and we'll see him in 2016, I hope.
I certainly hope so and assume so, Roger. Thank you. Congratulations on all the success for PJTV.
Congratulations to you on your new book as well.
Thank you.
This has been Roger Simon for PJTV.